I'm rereading Persuasion. Spoilers. I know, the book's over 200 years old. It probably doesn't need a spoilers take, but some people haven't read it. Probably most people haven't read it. And fair enough. If you're about to pick up your first Jane Austen novel, it's not going to be Persuasion. Well, it might be, but only if something specific has put you off Pride and Prejudice. I hope no one starts with Northanger Abbey. What I'm trying to say is that Pride and Prejudice is the most popular and the most well-known, and therefore most people's first Austen novel. And probably most people's last Austen novel. I get it. If you're not used to the language, it can be dense. And Austen doesn't tell you when people are being sarcastic or earnest, you just have to know which characters are idiots and which characters find all the other characters ridiculous. Which is more effort than we have to put into literature these days. And forcing kids to read books in school never works. Well, it worked for me, but I have ever been the exception. The number of times I've been in the middle of a conversation with someone and they pause and go, "You're a bit different." Anyway, Persuasion. I've read it 2 or 3 times. I love it. I know what happens, but not in the same way I know, say, Harry Potter. I'm in it for the love story, so in my head, Louisa has her accident, which is when Wentworth realizes that he's still in love with Anne, but it's too late because due to his actions, he's as good as engaged to Louisa, so he just kind of leaves while she's recovering. Fortunately for our heroes, while she's recovering, Louisa falls in love with Benwick, so then Wentworth is free to show up in Bath and leave Anne a letter at the end. Except that in reality, Louisa's accident happens in the first half of the book. You know the first time you read Jane Eyre and it's the night before she marries the love of her life and you realize that you're only halfway through the book? This felt like that. It wouldn't feel like that at all if it was your first time reading Persuasion because you wouldn't know it was the turning point, but I've been to the end. I've read Wentworth's letter. I know it's the turning point. I want it to be the book turning point. But it's not for Anne, and Persuasion is her story. So we go to Bath and Anne lives her life expecting nothing from Wentworth. She tolerates her ridiculous family. She renews an old friendship. She forms an acquaintance with Mr. Elliot. Mr. Elliot is the Wickham, Willoughby, Frank Churchill, Henry Crawford character of Persuasion. This is pure speculation, but I think Austen had at least one bad experience with a charming man, and he ended up in 5 of her 6 novels. But now I'm at the part where Anne finds out that Louisa is engaged to Benwick and still no Wentworth. Where is he? Just taking his sweet ass time somewhere, and when he does show up, he's gonna believe the rumor that Anne's soon to be engaged to her cousin, Mr. Elliot, and this is just gonna drag on forever. I know, because I still have 100 pages to go. It's so fun, I'm enjoying it immensely. Thanks for watching, subscribe for videos every Tuesday and Friday. If you'd like to read a Jane Austen novel, but the language is too daunting, ask me to read it for you. It would make me so happy.